Alright guys, well, this is day 2 in Kazakhstan. We're gonna go explore some historical sites. I'll show you as we go along. First thing we're gonna see is the National Museum. It's quite an impressive building. It sort of looks very Soviet. I'm not sure when it was built, but I'll show you here in a second. Unfortunately, the main entrance is closed, so you gotta go around it. But yeah, we'll see what we can learn about history of Kazakhstan and educate ourselves about how this country came to be and a little bit about its ancient history. As you know, Kazakhstan is officially a Muslim country, so Islam is a prevalent religion here. But from what I've seen, it seems to be pretty relaxed. Like, you know, I haven't seen a single person in a hijab, so it's definitely like a Islam with Kazakhstan twist on it, right? Very different than what we saw, let's say, in Indonesia or Malaysia. But yeah, let's check it out. As you see, we picked the right time to come here. There's major renovation work in this park by the museum. Apparently it was a really beautiful park here. You could kind of walk around, but sort of all taken apart here with a reconstruction. But here's the museum building. Look how neat it is. Very Soviet looking. As one of my favorite vloggers would say, bold and bankrupt. Look at this Soviet building. Pretty neat. Okay, let's see what we can find on the inside. Well guys, we're still walking around the museum to find the entrance because it's not so simple, but I just wanted to show you this. This is definitely Soviet era apartments. You know, I myself was born in Eastern Europe, so this is very dear to my heart. It kind of makes me feel like I'm at home. Really like it. You know, maybe they look grim to some, but to me, it sort of looks cozy and nice. And look at this old Soviet hotel. It's Hotel Salem. You can see they modernized it a bit, but you can still imagine Soviet families coming here, spending their holiday in the capital city of Kazakhstan Republic, Social Republic. You know, maybe this was a big deal back then, right? Because you didn't have high buildings. I think there's actually a moratorium to build anything higher than 9 floors. So it's not unusual to see these low-lying buildings, but its proximity to the museum probably made it quite a thought-out place to stay. So, pretty neat. Oh, I think we found the entrance. Well, we're about to walk into the museum, but I just wanted to show you this building up close. Look how cool this is. I'm not sure what it reminds me of. It kind of looks maybe like a mosque-ish design, or like a citadel of sorts. But definitely looks, you know, has that brutal Soviet design to it. Very cool. All right, let's go in. Okay guys, well, we're inside the museum here, so let's explore the culture. Oh wow. Oh, look at this. This is parts of a mammoth hair. Oh my, this is a mammoth teeth. Wow, that's a big tooth. And here's the mammoth skeleton. Wow, that's a big boy. Well, that's pretty cool. Look at this recreation of different dinosaurs that roamed these lands back in the day. All right, so I think this is the earliest artifacts from Kazakhstan. Look at this, first tools. that humanoids ever made. It's kind of cool. Look at this. This is how we used to look like. Huh. Then you see the man evolving, the features are changing, and with it, the complexity of the tools and the delicacy of the tools becomes much more sophisticated. This is Mousterian H. Interesting. Wow. Look at these. You can just sort of imagine somebody chopping these stones somewhere in the cave. You know, perhaps looking like that. It's kind of neat. As you can see, some of these stones are used to sew hides together. See how they would use them here as a sort of a primitive needle. Oh, look at this, Chad. I like the drip, the hair, the necklace. Pretty cool looking guy. Here are some paintings, rock paintings that were probably found here. Okay, so this is going forward in history here. What is this? Let's see. So this is a Neolithic age. As you can see, the features of the human face changed quite a bit. Quite interesting. Here's the sort of the first primitive weapons that were made here. As you can see, there's you can throw these things or just whip them around and hit somebody pretty hard. Wow. Bones. So now we're looking at undrawable culture. From I think 15th century BC. Huh. Very cool. The first pods. This is pretty cool. So this is a Bronze Age. So you see, it's probably the burial grounds. Sort of the same barrier stones that we saw, well, really everywhere, and from Norway to Malaysia. It's a pretty uniform thing people did back then. This is sort of what the Bronze Age settlement would look like. As you can see, you would have a straw house. That would be sort of the framework would be wooden like this. So this is where people would live in the late Bronze Age here in Kazakhstan. This seems like a burial ground. What is this? This is really neat. Look at this. This is a burial from the 15th century BC, I believe. As you can see, the person would be buried in this stone coffin with some of his prized possession. Pretty sure this is the original too. Wow. Look at this. This is really neat. So this is a model of Saki Kurgan, which is the burial grounds of the Scythian culture people. And we're actually going to see them in real life in the next few days. But this is sort of what it would look like. As you can see, it's covered by ground and then layers of rock. And then inside would be the burial right there. But then it would be all covered up by the earth. Really neat. And actually, what they found here is one of the most prized possessions in Kazakhstan. They call it the Golden Man. So this is a replica. But we will see when we go to the mounds, the place where this was found. It's one of the most beautifully preserved examples of a Scythian culture here in Kazakhstan. Yeah, this is really neat. So look at this. This is the the Scythian period gold pieces. As you can see, you can always tell the Scythian design by these sort of motifs. And the motifs are usually, you know, animals from the mountains in poses like these. So if you've seen these artworks enough, you'll have no problem picking out a Scythian motif. You know, usually there's antlers and goats and deer, and some birds, and they're placed in a very unique way, like just so. This is very, very Scythian. This is really neat. So this is the Isaac kurgan that we're gonna see in a few days, but this is sort of what it would look like. As you can see, there's a main one, and then there would be stones surrounding it. And then inside, there'd be burial chambers like these, or stone burials like these. And that's where the person would be laid with all his prized possession. Unfortunately, most of them were, of course, looted throughout the history, so there's not much that could be found there still. But sometimes the archaeologists get lucky, and that's exactly what we see with the golden man, which was found in the burial grounds, left unharmed. You know, no, the looters didn't find him, so his beautiful golden suit was found there, and you can see that in the museum in Astana, the actual capital of the city, also of the country, and we'll go there too. Oh, this is some Saka weaponry. So Saka and Scythian, you can basically equate the two. It's the same people, just different regions. This, I guess, what they look like. Facial features, as you can see, quite European, not too Mongoloid. And this is something really, really neat, guys. Look at this. This is actually the offering plate. So this is when they would do the sacrifices. Who knows of what? But they would place their offerings in this offering bowl. Look how awesome this is. Oh, what is this? 5. That's another offering stone. So they would be also placed there. So this is from, I believe, the Scythian times as well, which is about 700, 500. This is some big pot that was found. As you can see, the motifs are all recurring. A lot of cattle animals, a lot of horns, deer, whatnot. So not much known about the religion of the Scythian culture, but what is proposed is that these animal symbols that are recurring in the artwork have deep meaning to them. So what it is supposed is that the birds would symbolize the celestial world, the hoofed animals would symbolize the human world, and then the reptiles, predators, and the fish would represent the lower world of death. So it's not just images of the animals, it is more of a like a code that carries the theological value to the Scythians. That's why scientists propose that they're so reoccurring and so important to the Scythian culture. There you go. So this is what they would look like. As you can see, not too Mongoloid, much more European, or like maybe like Iranian or something, but not a Mongol sort of facial feature that predominate, let's say, today. This is quite interesting. So this is the 9th century BC, and it's actually a written artifact. So this is what the language looked like at the time. in southern Kazakhstan. How cool is this? This is the written language. I wonder if the scientists were able to decipher this. Now these are replicas, but they are the replicas of the golden treasures that were found here from the Scythian era, the Saka era. We're able to see the actual gold ones in the different room, but there's no filming allowed there, so I can show you at least, guys, this replicas, as you can see. It's the same recurring theme of animals, the hoofed animals, a lot of that. What is interesting in this one is, you can actually, if you look close, sort of right there, you can see a dragon. There's a person riding that dragon, and that is supposedly, oh, there it is. This is better. It's a printout. So this is what the original actually looked like. It's really cool, but unfortunately I couldn't take a video of that. But see, there's a dragon, so people are saying that this is very much showcases the influence the culture had from China, because dragons are a prominent symbol in Chinese mythology, right? So maybe, oh, that's kind of cool. See, there's a piece missing there, but supposedly maybe in the center there was a figure like that, which, who knows, maybe it's a ancient deity of sorts. Not too sure, but really cool. So this would be placed on your head. Look at this. It's pots for cooking, or maybe for wine, or maybe some ritualistic things. Once again, you see the recurring animals and the motifs. So what you see here is stone sculptures that be placed on the mounds of the deceased people, and they would, not sure if they represent the person or if they represent a god, but this is sort of same as we seen in the runic sort of Norwegian culture, where they place rune stones on the top of the mounds. This is just like that, but these ones appear to be more of a human-esque likeness. And you can see they're holding a cup there, so I'm not sure what that is about. But they would be always facing east to the rising sun, because of course people in that Bronze Age mostly believed in the god of the sun, the deity of the sun. It's the most important one, just like we saw in the Bronze Age in Norway. So quite interesting. So these are taken from the burial grounds. Wow. This would be like 12th century BC, if I understand correctly. Hey guys, this is something very, very, very unique. So when they found the gold man, they also found some of the vases that contain some writing. And this is something that is known as the Turkik Runes. So you might find this fascinating, because these runes look very, very, very similar to the runes that we saw in Norway. So how cool is that? Unfortunately, nobody is able to still decipher what these things say, although some are deciphered. Like, for example, let's see, where's so the picture 9 right there, that says is, have some food, man, friends and fellow tribesmen. And let's see, yeah, but you see the vase, right? But you see some of these are still sort of mystery as to what they say, but kind of makes you wonder, what was the connection between these runes and the Norwegian runes, right? Like Germanic runes. It's quite possible that they all have the same origin. Where that origin is it's quite a mystery till this day. Did it come from here and go to Germany? Or did it go from Germany and come to here? Or maybe somewhere else? It's hard to say, but what is non-debatable is that the similarity is uncanny. Well guys, this is a huge museum. So what we saw is just the downstairs of the this huge building. So as you walk up to the second floor, you can see something kind of cool. So inside there's the sort of a fair of people selling some traditional stuff, some kind of trinkets and souvenirs. So we'll check it out. And then as you walk up, you get to more museum rooms. And just look how huge this place is. Wow, look at that. So this is the dome inside the museum. As you can see, you can buy all sorts of cool things here that people make with their own hands. I'll definitely pick something up, I think, here. Wow. As you can see, there's plenty of stuff here. Wow. Oh, and here you can see the traditional clothes dating all the way back to the some of them to prehistory. And this is a replica of the famous Golden Man. This is what was found here in nearby Almaty, and is one of the best examples of the Scythian clothes ever found. It's the most intact one, so you can kind of see how these gold things that we see on the shelves, museum, where they would usually be placed on the dress. The Scythians had the very iconic headwear. It would be tall, cone-shaped headwear, and then on there you would see all these gold ornaments. As I said, different animals would represent different things. So the hoofed animals would be, well, scientists believe would represent the earth, right? So perhaps that's why you see hoofs right above the head. So this is like the king of earth, right? And then the birds would represent heaven or the celestial world, as you can see on the back there. And underneath you see the predators, and they would be sort of the underworld. And then there perhaps you see the mountains. So that's probably the way that Scythians saw their universe. You have the birds up there, then you have the mountains where the hoofed animals are, and that's where we are. So that would be, you know, like Midgard in Norwegian, but in this case, you know, Scythian world, because many people say that Scythians probably came from that mountainous region, actually north of Kazakhstan. And then underneath you have the predators. They sort of represent the death world. So that would, maybe this is the representation of Scythian universe as they saw it from theological point of view, and the animals that went along with it. But there you are. This is what a Scythian royalty would wear. So really cool. This is a place where you can see different clothes styles. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful culture Kazakhstan has. Look at that. The musical instruments, the traditional musical instruments. The rugs. So in this room, you see sort of the new history of Kazakhstan. You can see the constitution and the first president of the republic, Nazarbayev. He ruled the country almost for 30 years and only recently left. Now we have President Tokayev, but it used to be Nazarbayev for a long time. And here's a flag of Kazakhstan. So as you can see, there's an eagle, and then there's the sun and the blue sky. So it really gives you that steppe feel to it. And this is the coat of arms of Kazakhstan. Yeah, so this room mostly just kind of explains how Kazakhstan happened. As you can see, here's the first money that Kazakhstan had, and it started circulating in 1993. So brand new republic, just got its independence from the Soviet Union, and this was their money, as well as the highest owners here. So the highest one being the Golden Star, under number 1. 2 is Order of Otan, which means Otan, fatherland. Which makes me kind of wonder, Otan, father, sounds like Wotan, which is another way of saying Odin, which is the god of the Germanic tribes. So I wonder if there's a connection there of Wotan and Odin in Germanic ideology. Would be interesting to read up more about that. But yeah, look at those beautiful, beautiful medals that Kazakhs are getting for their accomplishments, military and civic, I imagine. Oh, this is based. Look at this. So this is a military clothes of a Kazakh soldier. So here's a whole wall sort of dedicated to the history of modern Kazakhstan. As you can see, there's a lot of Nazarbayev photos there. He's young, walking there in the middle, and then there's an older gentleman. But you might ask, why him everywhere? Well, he was basically the focal point of politics here for almost 30 years. You know, basically had a total control of politics. Kazakhstan is a democracy, but really, he was the same leader for almost 30 years, so you can imagine the connections and the bonds that a person like that would have. Would be integral. Yeah, and this is really cool. This is sort of showcasing the relationship that Kazakhstan has with different nations. So this would be Japan. I find this one quite interesting. Look at this. So here you have the Arab world. There's the Yasser Arafat, the leader of the Palestine at the time. As you can see, Nazarbayev, being in power for so long, had a chance to meet quite a large scale of politician. There's a president of Iran and Turkey. Look at this real spacesuit, as wore probably by the Kazakh cosmonauts, probably of the Soviet model. You know, I actually just realized I never really seen a spacesuit in real life. It was just amazing how, you know, a person would be in it, let's say on a spacewalk, and this thing is literally the only thing that will protect them from basically being vacuumed into the space, right? Like if there's no suit, basically it would explode because of the difference in the pressure, but this thing would keep you alive. So it better be good. You have some cool weaponry. Not sure if this is... No, this is ancient. Really neat settle. And of course the bows. The integral part of the warfare and the steps, the bow. Alright guys, and the next one is the war room. And what you can see here is the Russian-made World War I cannon. Look at this one, and this one has a unique story as well. This dates to World War I as well, but supposedly this one was used against the Kolchak forces by the Reds, by the Red Army in in the revolution times. As you know, Kolchak sort of tried to defeat the communist after the revolution. He was unsuccessful, but for a little bit, it looked like he was winning. So this is a weapon that was used to fight against him. But oh, look at this. A tractor, a Soviet tractor. Wow. So this must be from the 20s or 30s, I believe. So you can imagine that. Oh, okay. So this is a World War II time period. Okay. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is so neat. Oh, so these would be the civil heroes that produced most grain in Kazakhstan, and they would be, you know, they would be given these awards from Stalin and Lenin. Looks like it's signed by some important people there. And as you can see, some would be even made into heroes of Soviet Union. There's the sickle on the red background. We just need the hammer, and we could recreate the Soviet coat of arms. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my. So this is like panoramic view, and it says, well, it says people of Kazakhstan, heroes of the Soviet Union. And there's a Soviet Union star, so I guess this would be all of the Kazakh people that were ever awarded the Hero of Soviet Union star, which is the highest medal, highest honor you could get as a soldier or as a civil person. Wow. And what's interesting is probably 28 of those would be the Panfilov division. So I'm sure that their names are here as well, because they were given Hero of Soviet Union post-mortem. Look at this. Wow, so this is the commander of the, well, commander of the 1073rd Regiment, 8th Guard Division. He was a famous author of documentary novels, and this is his clothes. As you can see, quite a few medals. Wow. This is so cool. Look at this. This is German stuff. Oh, wow. A real German machine gun. So this would be the MP40. Wow. This was sort of, Germans were infamous for using these. Whenever you see a German in some documentary movie, chances are he would be wearing something like this and using a gun like that. Sort of a standard one for the German army during World War II. There's the grenade. When there's you can see a little swastika there on the helmet. Huh. I wonder what is this scene representing. As you can see, soldiers are, oh, well, gee, I'm retarded. This is the Panfilov battle. So we will go to the memorial to the Panfilov 28th soldiers, but this is basically what the battle looked like. So you had, the Germans were about to take Moscow, and you know, it's already winter time. They're almost there, so they want to do one last push. And in front of them, there's only a few divisions that defending Moscow, and these would be the Panfilov soldiers. The division itself was organized here in Almaty. This is why it's a very big deal. This chapter of World War II history, it's a big deal to the Almatynians because it is their city's history, and their heroic actions were part of why the Moscow was not conquered by the Nazis. So this is what the battle would look like. There was only a handful of soldiers left at that point, and the Germans threw something like 50 tanks at them, and apparently all of Panfilo soldiers died, but they were able to destroy something like 20 German tanks, which is a huge amount for the amount of troops that they had. And that halted a German attack and gave the valuable time to the Siberian forces to reinforce the front lines and eventually push the Germans back away from Moscow. But it's one of the chapters of the very, very heroic actions of the Russian soldiers, and some of them, of course, being Kazakh soldiers, of defending the motherland. Based right next to the panoramic model, we see more famous veterans of the Kazakh Republic that fought in World War II. So these gentlemen, just look at the amount of medals they have. Brave people. This gentleman, Rahimjan Koshkarbayev, was the first person that planted a Soviet flag, the red flag, on the building of Reichstag in 1945 when they were storming it. So he's a very well-renowned hero of Kazakhstan. And the flag that you see there, that's the flag. Interesting. There's some medals. As you can see, there's some. Oh yeah. Here's another hero of Soviet Union. This is Tuligin Tokhtarov. We should read more about his heroic actions, but what a beautiful monument made out of wood. Look, as you can see, wow. And here you can just see more war memorabilia. So the Maxim gun, which has been used heavily ever since really World War I, and was heavily still used in World War II. Then the gun. So this would have been sort of the iconic Russian gun for almost 2 wars. And then after, this one is dated to 1940. So probably seen some action in World War II. Based. Okay. There's some costumes, so you can have a glimpse on Kazakh culture. Oh, Jewish. I guess it's the Jews in Kazakhstan. Oh.
It's all the people who are like ethnic groups in Kazakhstan.
Ah, different ethnic Kazakh group. Well, here's Ukrainians. It's actually quite a good example of traditional Ukrainian clothing. This would be sort of the eastern part of Ukraine that is represented here, as you can see, not the western part. Russians, as you can see. Very cool. Polish. Man, look how diverse these things are. And Germans. Yeah, this is definitely German. Neat. Here's more. So this is the Uyghur people. You can see they're well known for their musical instruments. You can see quite a few of them here. I think it's called Dap. Dap is number 1 right there. So for percussions, and then you have Charta, a 4-string musical instrument. Then you have sitar, a 13-string instrument. Of course, you have the variations of that in India, sitar. And number 4 is Kosh Rawap, a string-plucked musical instrument from 1954. Well, that's kind of neat. Look at this. It's like 2 instruments in one. Huh. Interesting. Then you have Dungan people. Obviously, more Chinese influence here. Then you have Karakalpaks. Very interesting. Tatars that are living in a present-day Russia. Uzbeks. Very, very colorful and interesting culture. This is Turkmens. Also really cool. And Turks. And I think that's it. Cool. Well, there you go. We saw some World War II history. Here we are in the anthropology part of the museum. So you can see how people changed throughout the hundreds of thousands of years. Well, this is a prototype of Russian men in the 3,000 years BC from Siberia. This is Kazakh man from 5,000 years. Wow, barely look like a modern day Kazakh. Looks more Russian to me. Another Russian dude. This is from 1300 BC. Here you start to see more Mongoloid kind of type of facial features. This would be really interesting to somebody who likes the anthropology, just to see how things progressed from one to another. There you go. There's more prototypes. This is Timurlan, a very, very famous ruler in the, I think, 15th century. So here's his bust. But actually, I just wanted to show you guys something really, really neat. So look at this. So the mounds that we're gonna see tomorrow would kind of look like that from the top. You know, you just bury the people covered with stones. But what is awesome here is that it kind of shows you how it would look like. So look at this. So there you are. So underneath the mound, you would have the most prized possessions. So you'd see horses. They would usually be killed. Horses were extremely valuable, so to find a horse, especially in large quantities, would mean that the person was very wealthy. So as you can see, the horses would be buried with the owner as well. And I wonder if that's a coincidence or not, but it seems there's a husband and a wife, so I'm not sure if the wife would be sort of put to death if her husband were to pass away. It's quite likely that it was that way. But there you go. So the ruler or the king of the area would be buried in a wooden coffin like that, with all the jewelry, and his wife apparently. And there would be some food left, some offerings to the gods for the afterlife, and then he would also be accompanied by the horses So supposedly he could use those horses in the afterlife. And the designs are, of course, indicating that this is the Saka Scythian culture. So this is the replica of an actual Scythian burial ground, which is like super, super cool. I've never seen anything like this. This is really neat.